Welcome to the 50th episode of Moon Monkey. On this episode, we're going to be talking about Rogue One, directed by Gareth Edwards.
So Rogue One, you start out you're basically just following the rebels as they're trying to track down the Death Star plans. The Death Star is being built, and we start off with Director Krennic hunting down Jyn Erso's dad, Galen, who is the only person apparently who can finish the Death Star and bring order to the galaxy. His words, not mine.
So the film's basically leading up to the beginning of Episode 4, A New Hope.
The moment New Hope hits is just the moment this one stops.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Give or take.
So if you didn't want the end of this movie spoiling, we apologise for that. Because we've just told you things where it ends. But there will be spoilers in this because it was released at Christmas and we're reviewing it's now out, especially on
we're doing
Blu-ray.
The Blu-ray 3D Steelbook version, which you could only get apparently in Zavvi or Best Buy, or now eBay.
So a lot of people really like this movie because obviously we had Force Awakens the Christmas before, which a lot of people thought was kind of a retread of Episode 4. It covered a lot of the same bases with, team getting together, going off to destroy a Death Star, and there's an evil empire, now the First Order instead of the Sith or the Empire that was in the originals. Whereas this is kind of it's set in the same universe, but it's an entirely original story in a way, with original cast of characters.
Yeah.
The originality might have been oversold a little bit, because you got Felicity Jones playing Jyn Erso, who's kind of like a Rey character from Force Awakens. You got Diego Luna playing Cassian.
Kind of Han Solo.
Kind of your Han Solo character. Like a lot of the characters, and the K2SO, the robot, is like an amalgam of C-3PO and R2-D2.
He's like if R2-D2 could speak. He's got some swagger to him.
That was probably like one thing that I thought about the film. It just, even though it is a unique story, it was still like very similar characters that we've seen before. And I guess because it's the same world, it's obviously going to seem familiar because you've got, Stormtroopers, Death Stars. You even got Darth Vader. Some of the same characters appear in this. But I do give it credit for trying something original.
I really like it. Let's get that out there. But I think what I like about it is it's something completely different that you haven't really seen in other Star Wars movies, and that it's more of like a World War II kind of thing. You've got more of the ground battles that you don't really see.
Oh yeah.
It's almost like a kind of Saving Private Ryan moment. They're storming the beachhead.
Definitely puts the war into Star Wars.
It does put the war into Star Wars. It does, definitely. And there's some really good stuff in there. You've got a lot of little nods to like previous ones. You can tell like Gareth Edwards really loves Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Just from the little hints, you've got like little droids that you're seeing. It's like, oh, that was from that episode 4, and that's from the Jawas Standcrawler.
Yeah.
Or there's a little droid on the Death Star. Oh, they're drinking blue milk. Oh, it starts off in a moisture farm.
C-3PO and R2-D2.
They did chuck them in. There's a couple of little references to like Rebels. And
the guy from the bar on Tatooine.
We've got the two guys. They're armless. It's fine. It's okay. That's a terrible joke. But they were there. Yeah, it was loads of little references, just like that, so you can tell like the guy really has.
Yeah, it's
like,
a more gritty side of the rebellion. It's not quite as hopeful as the Star Wars films. It's not that kind of hero's quest story either. It's more of a soldier's story or a rebel's story. I wish there'd been more of that. Like I said to you before, the first part is more kind of an adventure story. It's the second half I have no complaints about. Like once they start the attack and it just gets into the fighting, I think it's really good. The first half I feel is a little just directionless. You're not really sure where they're going. I mean, I know that it's not like it is scripted and they explain where they're going.
Your first complaint was you knew where they were going.
Yeah, but it's just like, you don't get that strong sense of motivation. You're not really sure. And the main character in this, she doesn't have that kind of strong thing from the beginning that follows through. She only gets given her mission like part way through. That's one of the things.
I think like the difference with this is before it's always like characters finding out about their family, whereas Jyn knows her family, and she's got to deal with what they've done. It's not like there's a big reveal. Oh, my father's Darth Vader.
Yeah.
It's like I know my father works for the Empire, and even the rebels have abandoned me. I don't know what to do. It's like her coming to terms with
she's just a
how
bit
she should deal with
she's
it.
a bit lost at the start. But like, I feel like as the viewer, you're also kind of lost because you're not sure like what she's wants to do or what her beliefs are until it carries on a bit. You find it out later on.
I don't know. I think it quickly changes when like she's first freed. She's a bit kind of like, oh, I don't really want to help anyone, you know. But then once they're on Jeddah and she meets Saw Gerrera and she sees the hologram, it's like, oh, my dad, I've got to find my dad. And there's that family thing that keeps Star Wars, all the Star Wars movies, turning along. And
I like that. I did like that.
The soap opera of the family and the story.
It was one of those for me where I put the like second half aside. The first half, there's like some great moments. The one when she sees the hologram of her father, which is a great callback to the originals, and like you say, has that family, theme in there. K2SO is good like throughout, and there's a lot of funny scenes with him.
Yeah,
and I like the attack on Jeddah and things. Also, I like the fact that they showed. I know they did it in the originals as well, but they show Krennic and Tarkin. Is it? And Darth Vader. They showed like their interactions and the bad guys. I quite like that.
Yeah, that was nice to see from the point of view of the Death Star.
Yeah, but it's kind of like the same thing. Like at the beginning, they don't really know what the rebels are planning. You don't have like the conflict set up at the beginning. It only comes in part way through the film. So the first half, that's what I mean. You're not really getting the plot doesn't kick in really kick into gear until you're part way through.
I think really like with Rogue One, that if you're going to see it and you know about Star Wars, the plot's immediately there because it's all about.
Oh yeah,
it's about the moments before they.
Well, that's what I said. That's what I said to you. Presumably, the film's pretty much made for Star Wars fans. Like you need to have seen Episode 4. You need to know what happens in Star Wars to know how important it is that they get the plans. They do set it up in this film, but I think it has much more impact if you're someone who really cares about the Star Wars universe in the first place. If you don't, the film maybe doesn't do enough to kind of bring you in without knowing about Star Wars beforehand.
I don't know. I think they hammer. I think they do because it's just a giant super weapon. You could kind of say it's just like, oh, we need to stop the people with nuclear bombs or whatever. It's just a very kind of simple.
Oh yeah.
Plot that are like, oh look, the bad guys have this super weapon. We need to find out a way to stop it.
They did blow up Jeddah. So, I mean, I suppose you've got that. But in the original, when they blow up is it Tatooine that they blow up?
No.
What's the planet they blow up at the very beginning?
Alderaan.
When they blow up Alderaan, like, that's when you realise, oh, that's why they've got to stop the Death Star.
Tatooine is okay, everyone.
They kind of do that in this film with Jeddah, with, like, the city of Jeddah. Again, like, it's one of those things, because they keep making these Star Wars, they keep redoing the same moments that you've seen in other Star Wars films.
Well, we haven't seen Jeddah blown up. And that wasn't.
We have seen other planets blown up,
but that wasn't even a full planet. That was the first time you find out the Death Star could just target a city. So it was something.
I mean, it suffers a little because of where it falls in the timeline, and the fact that you'd already have seen, presumably, the films that follow it. So you're kind of going back, knowing what happens.
If you don't get too hung up on the fact that there's other ones, and there's ones before, and there's ones. What about the one we watched?
Well. Okay, we've spoken a lot about the plot. There were some great performances that I think we can probably agree on. Donnie Yen was really good as like the blind fighter.
He's your favourite character now.
Favourite character in the Star Wars universe. Like him and Wen Jiang, who plays his friend with just a huge gun.
Yeah, they were.
Around with.
To be honest with you, they kept the whole thing going for me because. Aside from Cassian and Jin and K2SO, they're the main kind of rebels on the assault, and they're
also,
really good together.
They're the only two who give like a hint of the Jedi and the Force. Like they're the only two. Well, it's in fact only the one guy, Donnie Yen's character, who believes in the Force.
Still believes,
because this is the time before Episode 4 where the Jedi have disappeared. No one speaks about them anymore. Really, they've been kind of
they've been wiped out.
Exiled.
They've been wiped out
by the Sith. So yeah, that's kind of a little hint of like what's coming. But again, it's like relies on you knowing like, oh, that's the spark that's gonna eventually like people come to believe in them again. Forrest Whitaker's Saw Gerrera I felt was a little underused.
Yeah, because he was really good, and it was like you basically only saw him in a cave.
But the thing is, like, you see him near the beginning of the film when Jin escapes, and he looks down, and you think, oh, this is going to be, like, the relationship that carries you through, like, the first part of the film anyway.
Well, it does,
but then
in a way. Because it's her,
Yeah, but
it's
it's
her
like-
relationship with him that doesn't get them killed. in
But
the
it's
first
like they meet him and then have a short scene, and then she leaves again, and it gets blown up. So he's not really any kind of. It's like, okay, they explain to you that he was a type of father figure, but they don't show you that. They don't show you their relationship at any point. So that I felt was kind of a missed opportunity a little bit. And Mads Mikkelsen as well, like, is in it too briefly.
Yeah, he's in a lot of things too briefly. Well, to be fair.
But yeah, overall, I mean, I would definitely if you're a Star Wars fan, I think you're going to really enjoy this because there's so much in it. Like some of my favourite bits were the bit when they did Red Leader standing by, like callbacks to the other films. Darth Vader with his lightsaber. Even though I kind of did just complain about them repeating stuff, most of the stuff I liked.
Your favourite bits were the little throwbacks of
Most of the stuff I liked was stuff that was just you saw in other
You
movies.
really liked the beach assault, and it was different. It was something different. It was more of like a World War II, and I liked the elements of like being a spy movie and a heist, and they had to get the plans, and it was how they got the plans.
Like you were saying, it was good. They had this like ragtag band of mercenaries together, which we've kind of seen in other films. It's always like a group. But this was just like a different selection of people.
It was more like Dirty Dozen, things like that. But I liked Jin and her family.
I think they should have played more on the fact that, like, he makes a reference to the fact they've done terrible things. They could have made the characters a little grayer, of like, whether you trust them or not.
Well, Cassian he shot a guy in the back in the first scene you saw him. He's pretty grey, and he was going to shoot Jin's dad.
That's true. I know, but more like they could have done more of that. But they still lean heavily on the good versus evil vibe from the Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah.
Rather than make it just an out and out war film where you don't know who to trust.
But this is like, but there's always that. You've always got somebody you're rooting for.
They should have had a traitor in the midst.
It doesn't matter what war movie you want. There's always like the good and the bad guys. You know, it's always pretty clean cut. There's never like, who do I root for here?
That's true.
You know,
but you don't see them do too many things where it's like, I'm not sure. I mean, I guess the way Star Wars is set up, you have stormtroopers who always have masks on, so it's not, you never feel as though you're killing other people, because it's like, they're just stormtroopers.
But I mean,
it's not like a war film, it's like, you're actually killing other people.
I think like you actually saw the rebels be rebels in this movie for the first time.
The special effects, again, like really good. Like seeing the AT-AT walkers.
Tarkin as well was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
It was like Peter Cushing was there.
Yeah, even watching it again on TV, I still can't see... I still wouldn't know that that's CG.
Yeah, that is really good.
He was, really good. But yeah, and everything with the assault scene at the end was good, and like a high-octane action sequence. I'd just say, more of that. If they're going to do some more... Because I know they're planning more spin-off movies. They're doing the Han Solo one, and they're probably going to do a ton of, like, different stories set in the universe. I think one of the things that'll be good, if they do stories, if they finally, like, just get completely away from... the Death Star of Princess Leia. Like, this one is still too close to that story.
Yeah.
Like, if they could just do any story in this universe.
For me, that's like a really big Star Wars fan, and you are, like, lukewarm to it.
Yeah.
It'd
be cool if they did, like, a real, like, a prequel, but, like, set a long time before these events, like the really old Jedi stories.
Yeah, something like that. Cool. That would be really cool. But, I mean, I think this one was, like, something that always interests you. When you see the little crawl in the first New Hope, it's like, the rebel spies stole the plans. It's like, that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool. I still like this movie.
But I like that in the first Star Wars, what was cool was it starts, like, halfway through the action. But that's what was cool. But now they've kind of shown you what happened before it. So it's like, all right. You know, it's not taking away the mystery or the interest of how they got away.
No. But it's still an interesting additive to the folklore.
I wouldn't like deter people from watching it. I would definitely recommend it if you like Star Wars.
Although you'd start watching from the beach assault and not really care about anything else.
Don't worry about the first part of it.
No, I think it's well worth watching. There's that interesting.
I just felt like it could have been better than it was, but a really good film. But there's things where I just think like, they had an opportunity to just like go crazy with this and do something totally insane.
I think they did do something different within the
just a hard R Star Wars.
Shave Chewbacca live. Yeah. I don't know what you want, but like no, I think they did something different enough with it, like being like the beach assault and something new, more like a war feeling to it than other movies. So it was within the confines of the story that they had. It's like, we're going to do about Death Star plans. Well, we need to mention the Death Star.
Yeah.
And we need to have certain characters there. But I think it was I really enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, a lot of enjoyable things in it.
I mean, I saw it a couple of times at the cinema, and it was quite emotional at the end when we had them on the beach. And I think it's got that kind of anti-nuclear message as well with the blasting that's coming towards them. Almost like the sitting on the atoll with the tests and stuff.
Well, yeah, there was a lot of stuff in it which you can relate to, like political events throughout history, I suppose. It's one of those timeless stories where it's applicable to kind of any situation where you've got terrorists and an empire and like authoritarianism versus freedom fighters. You know, it's applicable to a lot of situations. And yeah, like some great characters like Riz Ahmed we didn't talk about. But yeah, the whole cast of the whole cast of this little group is kind of interesting.
And there's loads of little nods to like previous stuff that really sad hardcore fans will get, and there's loads of stuff that if you've just seen Star Wars once, you'll still get it. Or if you've not seen Star Wars at all, there's still enough in there.
I mean, if you've even seen Star Wars once, like the scene at the end where Princess Leia turns round, especially now, is kind of emotionally like...
Yeah, it's going to be more of an impactful moment, definitely.
Yeah, and like seeing Darth Vader turn out, if you know anything about the character, it's like, oh wow. But I feel like
most people
you do have to know you do have to have seen Star Wars at least once to understand what the import of what they're doing in Rogue One is.
So overall, I really liked it. You liked it from maybe 40 minutes in. But if you're thinking about getting the little steelbook, the Rogue One steelbook, probably the only place you can get it now is eBay, and it's pretty decent.
What do you get on the special edition? Do you get like any documentaries, extras?
There's the bonus disc which I've watched a bit of, and it's quite good. You do get a lot of in-depth stuff. There's stuff with the director and like Kathleen Kennedy.
The behind-the-scenes stuff's always.
And there's stuff with the writer, and there's a lot of stuff with the art department, and there's loads of stuff with Gareth Edwards and stuff. So it is quite interesting. You get a lot of stuff with the cast, a lot of interviews, and so it is quite interesting. I don't know if it's really worth the extra money, but I mean, if you want to have a little steelbook in your collection.
That's the thing, fans of Star Wars they like collecting.
Yeah, so it's going to hoard them all away somewhere. But you do get the 3D version as well in it, and it does look pretty cool. It's got little Death Troopers and stuff. Yeah. So it depends if you really.
Did you see the film in 3D at the cinema?
No, I just went for 2D.
Yeah, I saw the 2D one as well. Oh no, actually, I did see the 3D one. There wasn't much to recommend.
Clearly, it made an impact on you.
Yeah, there wasn't much like in it. I don't think there's much in it where it's like the 3D would make a huge difference in this film, except maybe the final fights. But other than that, there's not like a lot that's you need the 3D for.
Overall, very good. Nice to see some stormtroopers on the beach and Death Star plans. Very interesting backstory, at least for me. Definitely
recommend it. So that was our review of Rogue One. Thanks for listening. Remember to like and subscribe, and check out our website at themoonmonkey@blogspot.com.
And we'll see you in another 50 episodes.
Yeah.